Hello. Today I'd like to talk about goals, goals for the company, and sort of what's to come. So we're releasing Neverending Nightmares on September 26th, and I mean, obviously, it's my goal that the game sells a million billion copies. As many copies as possible. That would be great, but I mean. Realistically, it's hard to say exactly how many copies we might sell. I mean, I foolishly expected, a certain number of copies on Retrograde, and was proven horribly, horribly wrong. We, did a billion times lower. Well, not a billion times, but, I thought, we could do, like, 10 or 15,000 copies, in the first month or something like that. Which is not a lot. That's not a hit game, but, that's something. And of course, I mean, I don't think I guess if you include discounts, we've probably sold more than that, but if you say our revenue at $10 a unit, not counting, all the other shares, and then you say 10,000 units, that's 100K bringing into the company from sales, and I think, again, we're at like 40K PS3, about 40K Steam, so and certainly a lot of that was when we discounted the games, including like a 99-cent sale. So, I mean, we didn't, life to date sell the equivalent of, 10K units at launch, which is, devastating. Obviously, we have, an advantage, on Neverending Nightmares, given that we were kickstarted and we have, we got the funding to make the game. So, I mean, we're not in debt, which isn't 100% true either, because we, didn't get paid for, the first chunk of development, and then we didn't get paid. We haven't been paying ourselves, at least myself and Dan, we haven't really gotten paid for a while. Yeah. which isn't that great. And then we also funneled money from our consulting whatnots into the game. So, I mean, while, the bank accounts are positive, we haven't had to put anything into the company. Obviously, we've put other things into the company, a lot of sweat equity. So, we're definitely hoping that, it sells more than 0 copies. Certainly more than, retrograde level of sales. So, I mean, obviously, sell as many units as possible. That's our goal. But I think, beyond that, we want to sell enough copies so we can, live comfortably, and keep working on indie games. I mean, while I've had some fun consulting projects, I mean, it would be cool to just focus on developing indie games, and certainly some of the consulting projects are have sort of dried up, and other ones, I don't know. But I mean, ideally we could make indie games, 100% full time. And of course, get paid reasonably, and pay, all of the team, but, the game needs to sell to a certain threshold, and then either, sell insanely at the beginning, or, have that long tail, which, I mean, I think if you do well at the beginning, then your long tail is significantly higher, whereas Retrograde, did poorly at the beginning, and then, we sell, like, I don't know, a couple of units a week. So, I mean, if we make, like, $7 off each unit, and that's, like, I don't know, my cable internet bill or something. Not a lot of money coming in from Retrograde, and certainly, when you do the discounts and all that stuff, there's ways to make it spike, but our spikes are small, and I think, part of it is that, we did a humble weekly sale. Like, there was a Humble Rhythm weekly sale, and we got, I forget how much, I don't know, 20K or less than 20K or something from that, which, I mean, considering our Steam sales is like 40K, I mean, that's quite good, but, I mean, a lot of people are able to get these huge spikes late in their product life cycle, and I think a lot of that is, based around how successful you are at launch. So, I mean, we definitely really want to sell a lot of units at launch, because that gives us some cushion, for funding future games, and then also hopefully gives us that long tail. And so, hopefully the long tail is enough to, finance the day-to-day operations of the company. I mean, that's the goal, and I think that's sort of how you measure indie success. And I think, Indie Fund is some amazing, game developers, Ron Carmel, Jonathan Below, Kelly Santiago, and I think that the stated goal of Indie Fund is to give people funding for, an indie project such that they'll be able to fund the rest of their indie project. So the goal is to, give them help when they need it, and then hopefully their next title will be such a success that they won't need to turn for help again. So, I mean, and certainly, even if we, don't make enough to keep the lights on, if we do make enough to put together some stuff for Kickstarter, I mean, then, again, we'd have to sort of bet the company on a Kickstarter, which, I mean, I don't know how well that would go. I mean, certainly we would have the track record of delivering successfully on a Kickstarter, because, I mean, at this point, I mean, we've made the game, we could release it now, but we're really, the game has come a long way over the past, few weeks, but, so, I mean, basically, there's no way we're going to screw that up, and then it's just physical rewards, which are going to be a pain in the butt, and to some extent, we'll have to, we sort of spend the money on physical rewards, so I guess if we had, 0 sales, then it would put us in a bind for the physical rewards. But I'm expecting to sell more than 0 units, and certainly, we have some stuff coming in from Ouya, like when we ship, and then 6 months out for our 6-month console exclusivity. So. But, I mean, basically, we delivered on a Kickstarter, so, I mean, hopefully we could do sort of a bigger and better Kickstarter, because certainly if you follow our Kickstarter, we really squeaked by, and, the budget of $99K was not the full development budget of the game. Again, Ouya we did the Free the Games Fund, so they're giving us another $99K, and then, we put, in sweat equity to get to the point where we could do a Kickstarter, which, I mean, from conception to that point was, like 8 or 9 months. I mean, I started writing the design doc in December of of 2012. I mean, certainly, it would be great to be in a position where we didn't need to do a Kickstarter, but personally, I think, given my experience with Kickstarter, I would still want to do a Kickstarter. I mean, maybe at that point we could set the goal a little lower or something, but and I've spoken about this many times, but for me on a personal level, the Kickstarter has been really helpful, and I think, I forget who, but someone was saying that I basically use Kickstarter like a producer, I answer to my backers, and they sort of keep me in check. And while I could debate the value of a game producer, and that would be a whole nother video, I mean, having backers, being responsible to them, setting a schedule and a budget has been hugely helpful for me. I mean, I kind of want to, keep working on the game, and if you look, all the polish we've gotten in the past few days, I kind of want to, take a couple months and really make it shine, but I mean, I don't think that would be the smart thing to do, because I don't think, people might appreciate the polish, but it wouldn't really change their overall impression of the game. It wouldn't really take the game from, I'm interested in it, and to I must have it, or it wouldn't make the difference between a sale and a not sale. And I think part of the problem also is now that I've developed the game and I'm a lot smarter, I think there were a lot of things I would do differently. And so given the time, I would probably redo this game, which would probably be a horrible waste. Redo all the enemy encounters and rechange the pacing and just rip it to shreds and piece it back together, which would be dumb, because I think what we have is good. It may not be the greatest, but it's definitely something that I'd like to share with people. But given the time, and money, I might go overboard, and that's not in a position I want to be in again, because even if we didn't have the financial pressure riding on Retrograde, it was not a fun development experience. So Kickstarter has been really good for me, and I think I've delivered a good experience for backers. I think they've gotten more value than just the game and their pledges, in terms of the updates and the peek inside the development cycle. So yeah, so I mean, I don't know, I guess it's a very long-winded way of saying, we hope to sell enough units such that we can, make more games. Whether we need to do a Kickstarter or not, we'd still probably like to do a Kickstarter, but, yeah, so we're hoping the games will sell. So, fingers crossed. Anyway, thanks for watching.